Good evening, everyone. Welcome, council, staff, and residents to the regular council meeting for Tuesday, April the 15th, 2025, and we're being streamed live. I'm going to call the meeting to order with the land acknowledgement at 6:30. We're meeting today on the traditional territory of many nations, including the Huron-Wendat, Anishinaabe, and the Haudenosaunee peoples. We acknowledge our shared obligation to respect, honor, and sustain these lands and the natural resources contained within. We honor their cultures and celebrate their commitment to this land. We would also like to acknowledge the Mohawk and Algonquin nations, whose traditional and unceded territory we are gathered upon today. Hastings County is situated on treaty land that is steeped in rich Indigenous history and home to many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people. Is there any need a motion that the agenda for the regular meeting of the Council of the Municipality of Marmon Lake for Tuesday, April the 15th, 2025 be approved as presented. Can I have a mover and a seconder? Mike and Eric. Any questions or discussions on that agenda? All in favor? Carried. Is there any declaration of pecuniary interest? Being none, the mayor's report is next. April the 1st, I chaired the Marmon Lake Regular Council meeting. That day, I returned from attending the Ontario Good Roads Conference in Toronto, and I provided a brief report on the educational and information sessions that I had attended. From March 29th, we experienced a destructive ice storm in the area, and many were without hydro for an extended period of time. The municipality opened up the information center and the arena to the public, and the fire department provided potable water. Then the Crow Valley watershed experienced significant flooding and several roads were closed. The transportation department and the fire department provided sand and sandbags and assisted the public in an effort to reduce damages. On behalf of myself and council, I would like to extend sincere appreciation to the Marmon Lake staff and volunteers who responded to assist with the cleanup of the first ice storm and provided support to the community during the very high water conditions. Thank you to the hydro crews and first responders for restoring services as quickly as possible. And thank you to the residents for your patience while we work to restore these services. April the 3rd, Councillor Jane Lactose, representing the Family Health Team, CAO John Conley, and I attended the Marmor Medical Center to acknowledge receipt of a grant from the Marmor Legion for the purchase of special equipment. Lynn Deering and Judy Heisman presented a check on behalf of the Legion. Dr. I can't say his last name, so Payman and Dr. Sinton were present. A very sincere thank you to the Marmor Legion for their continued support and their generous donation. April the 8th, I attended the Governance Committee meeting for the Southeast Health Unit in Kingston. April the 10th, staff met to discuss the agreement with the Lions Club. April the 11th, staff met with members of the Lions Club regarding the ongoing discussions around the agreement with the municipality. April the 12th, I attended the Maple Syrup Festival and Pancake Breakfast at the Community Center. I understand there were 12 entries in the competition for the best maple syrup. Thank you to the Lions Club again for organizing and putting on this annual event. April the 15th, today, I attended the regular planning and development and finance, property, and personnel committee meetings at Hastings County. Thank you. We have the public input portion. Murph, were you going to speak in that? No? Okay. Next is minutes of the regular meeting of the Council of the Municipality of Marmon Lake, held Tuesday, April the 1st, 2025, be approved. Can I have a mover and a seconder? Jane, second. Mike, any discussion on those minutes? All in favor? That's carried. Next, report from the CAO regarding status update, April 2025. The recommendation is that council accept the CAO status update, April 2025 report dated April the 15th, 2025 for information. Can I have a mover and a seconder? Ron and second. Eric, any discussion or questions on that report? Being none, all in favor? That's carried. Thank you, John. Committee and board reports. I'm going to break these up because there's two separate recommendations here. But the first one is the Marmor Lake Library Board, the minutes for the February 20th. So can I have a mover and a seconder to accept those minutes? Mike and Jane, any discussion? All in favor? That's carried. And the next is Economic Development Minutes of February the 26th, 2025. And we're going to do two, Eric has asked that we do two separate motions for this particular recommendation. So I'm going to let him make the recommendation.
Okay, so do you want to accept the minutes first?
Whichever, yeah, yeah.
So I'll make that motion to accept the minutes.
Okay, second, Ron, any question or discussion on the minutes? Being none, all in favor? That's carried. So then the second recommendation, go ahead, Eric.
Okay, so within these minutes, there's a recommendation that came forward from the Economic Development Advisory Committee, which is a group, for anyone that isn't aware in the public, a group made up of members of the public, business owners, residents that help to provide feedback to the municipality on programs, initiatives, and help with brainstorming for projects. So this was a recommendation that came forward from that group, and the recommendation is that council direct the Economic Development Department to not renew the advertising in the News on 7 online publication as per the minutes of the Economic Development Advisory Committee from February 26.
So you're moving that recommendation?
So I'll move that.
Can I get a seconder? Mike, any discussion on that recommendation? Go ahead, Eric.
So I'll share just for information, kind of the consensus and where the background, where this came from the group. So the News on 7 was a publication that used to be produced in print, been through a few different changes. However, now the News on 7 is only electronic. Paper copies are no longer available. Are no longer distributed locally at places here in town like the grocery store, town hall, the tourism center, the library. There have not been print copies since 2023. Paper copies are available at a cost of $65 for an annual subscription, if there is anyone that wants to subscribe to a paper copy. The municipality paid $1,250 in 2024 for advertising in the News on 7 and was sent a renewal for 2025 of $1,100. The Economic Development Advisory Committee, through the Economic Development Department, asked the News on 7 for some specific statistics related to the News on 7 publication, including Google Web Analytics, circulation information, and where hard copies were available. The information returned was not what was requested and was a simple Word document with some basic statistics. The Economic Development Advisory Committee has several members that are experienced in advertising, email campaigns, and social media programs. The group reviewed the statistics that were provided and questioned the information as being accurate. This includes some of the information provided, quoting that the emails that the News on 7 sends out have an open rate of anywhere from 80 to 96%, that they have an email circulation list of 5,729 people. It also claimed 2,822 people were from Marmora on their email list. That's 50% of the entire circulation of their 5,700 emails that get sent out with the electronic version. It was also noted that the News on 7 does not have a page to sign up monthly to the monthly electronic newsletter, which raised the question, how do you even subscribe, and cast further doubts on the numbers that they did provide. The Economic Development Advisory Committee also reviewed the social media page of the News on 7 and found it had only 779 followers and very, very low engagement. While the Economic Development Advisory Committee recognizes the importance and the history of this local publication, The committee discussed other free opportunities not currently being used where Marmorant Lake events can be promoted, as well as alternate, more measurable and effective use of the advertising dollars within the community, economic development and tourism department.
Thanks, Eric. Any questions or comments further to that recommendation? Being none, all in favor? That's carried. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is correspondence for direction, Hastings County Council, a report of March the 25th, 2025. And the recommendation is that council receive the report for information. Can I have a mover and a seconder, please? Mike and Jane, any comments or questions on that? Or on that report from Hastings County? There's some really good information in there. You know, we do pay a levy to Hastings County, and it's a very good way of knowing how Hastings County is spending the money that they receive from us. Mike?
Is that posted to their website? Because you're right, there's a lot of good information in there every month. And it'd be
Yeah, it's
good for people in Marmorant Lake to they call it, engage with that.
Yeah,
There's a lot, they'll tell you where a lot of your money's going.
well, it'll be in the agenda portion of on our website. So, yeah. Okay, all in favor? That's carried. Marmorant Agricultural Society event permit application Retrofest. Recommendation is that council approve the event permit application submitted by the Marmor Agricultural Society for the Retrofest event to be held at the Marmor Fairgrounds on June 28th, 2025 from 8 o'clock to 5 p.m. Can I have a mover and a seconder, please? Jane, second. Eric, any questions on that permit application? All in favor? That's carried. Correspondence from Paul LaChance, Marmor an area curling club. He wanted to just let everybody know that they raised $2,870 in their curling event. And the recommendation is the council receive the letter for information. And I have a mover and a seconder, please. Ron and Jane, any questions, comments? All in favor? That's carried. Bylaw number 2025-505A, amended temporary borrowing bylaw, being a bylaw authorizing the temporary borrowing of funds. I have a mover and a seconder for that bylaw. Mike, second. Ron, any questions or comments? All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Any notice of motions or announcements? Eric?
Just a very quick announcement to remind the public, on April 26th is the Marmorant Lake Trash Bash. This is a community cleanup where everyone can participate. At Town Hall in the library, there's packages pre-assembled with bags and disposable gloves and an information sheet that you can pick up. And then on the 26th, go around, collect garbage and on your street, in ditches and green spaces. And then through the forum, there's instructions on what to do with that garbage, and the municipality will take care of that. So I encourage everyone to participate in that, and it's much appreciated.
Thanks, Eric. Any comments, further announcements? Being none. The next is we need a motion to go into closed session. That council will proceed into a closed meeting session under the Municipal Act, Section 239(2). B, personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees, and it's regarding the performance review for the CAO. Can I have a mover and a seconder to go into close, please? Ron and Jane. All in favor? That's carried. Merv, we're going to have to ask